Exactly.
Okay.
You know, there's a movie coming out in August, and I've been talking about this on my show. And you know, because I look into the racial politics of movies, and there's a movie coming out called The Help. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes, I've heard of this movie.
Yeah. It's about somewhere down in Mississippi in the 1960s, these well-to-do whites and these homely black maids, and the name of the movie is The Help. And it's the sad thing is a lot of more black folks are not offended by that title. That title is so much of an insult that it goes over people's heads. People don't even know when they're being insulted. A movie like that would never be made if it was reversed. For example, Spike Lee's movie, Miracle at St. Anna, that movie flopped. It's actually a good movie, but the movie flopped. People didn't take to it too much because it was black soldiers really saving whites. So people don't like that dynamic. But when it's whites saving blacks, these movies win Oscars all the time, just like Blind Side, all these other movies. So this movie, I can guarantee that this movie will win an Oscar. It's not even out yet. And I'm saying this movie will either get an Oscar nomination or it will get an Oscar. I can almost guarantee it.
Emma Stone, Oscar nomination? Okay.
Viola Davis, I'm thinking. The Help will get Oscar nominated. Like Gabourey Sidibe, she got, nominated. So Monique got the award. So Viola Davis, I think, is next up in line.
I don't think that Viola Davis is homely.
In the movie, I mean, they make them homely. That's the thing. Because in the movie, I'm looking at the trailer. I was at the movie theater, and they had the movie takes place in Mississippi in the early 1960s. And I'm looking at the trailer. All the white women in the movie were well-to-do, all the hair done, they're wearing real nice clothes, pearls, and all the black people that they show were homely, no makeup, just looking downtrodden. But the thing is, that's historically inaccurate because in Mississippi, everybody looked raggedy. The white folks too. People were like living in the backwoods, so nobody. They're putting extras on it. So I look at the little nuances like that they try to slip by because I don't like the racial politics of movies like that.
Wouldn't those extras be made to help sort of vilify the whites in that situation? Because by making them look even richer and even snootier, that it's making them look more like they're looking down their noses, and that's why the title of it is The Help, because they're seeing these women with lives and rich histories as just the help, and that's the whole problem. I thought that's what I gathered from the trailer, that's why the title of the movie was that.
No, see, the thing is, I call that fake liberalism. See, that's what they make it seem like they're doing. They're making it seem like they're showing the bad whites getting over on the poor blacks. But the thing is, there's another element to that we overlook. If you look at movies like The Help and The Blind Side and Dangerous Minds and all the movies where there's a white teacher going into the inner cities with the poor black, all of those movies, they have one thing in common. All of them without exception. The whites are always in a superior position than the blacks. No matter what. They can be snooty, they can be evil, but no matter what, the whites will always be socially superior than the black folks. Just like The Blind Side. The Blind Side was based on a book by Michael Orr, on his life story. It was supposed to be about him. The movie The Blind Side was not about Michael Orr. The movie was about Sandra Bullock, her character rather. She was the star of the movie. She was the main one in the movie about how kindly and liberal she was to help out the poor, disenfranchised black kid. So it's always the inferior-superior dynamic. So if they want to do a movie on some real liberal tip, I suggest that they do something equal. They never show a movie where the whites and the blacks are equal. So that's why
they couldn't make a movie about this, which is based on like a real book. They couldn't make a movie, this particular movie, with the whites and blacks being equal socially, because that just wasn't the case at that time in history. So I mean, like, do you just think that this type of movie just shouldn't be made because of the sort of fake liberalism that comes with Hollywood making this real story into a film?
Well, we're talking about The Help. Now, The Help is based on a fictional story. That's the story.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about The Blind Side, but the movie The Help is not a real story. It's based on a fiction book by a white writer. The female who wrote the book is a white lady, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of folks think that it was historically accurate, but it was not. And also in the 1960s, black people were discriminated against, and there was segregation, but financially, it was not that big of a difference. See, the thing is, as far as finances in this country and wealth and social equality, whites just got money in the 1950s. We have this whole thing where just these poor, disenfranchised blacks and these so well-to-do whites. The reality is white folks only got money in the 1950s. Before the 1950s, people were coming out of a depression. The whites were damn near just as broke as blacks before white flight happened after World War II. That's something that people don't like to talk about. But when we watch movies, we're always led to believe that poor blacks need to be saved by white people. This is why we have the principal movies, the movies where, like the white.
Oh, right. There's a million examples. Yeah.
Yeah, I can go on and on and on. So that dynamic, we need to understand why they do that.
I'm not disagreeing with that point at all, by the way, just to let that show for the record. I agree with all of that. I didn't know about this specific example that was not based on a real story. So
yeah. We're going to have King Flex's feelings about the help when it comes out, because I'm sure he'll be lined up right up front of the line. And look forward to hearing that then.